Okay, let's do this. Are you ready? Guess I stopped being dead, which means it's finally time to talk about that big Agris project. The one that took over a month to finish, and it has been finished for the past 2 months. Yes, I'm happy I never mentioned on what month on the 21st it's gonna come out, right? Regardless, yeah, let's celebrate. The biggest one yet, 52 grinding spots. Pretty much every single relevant area in the game was tested, and it should be in the final charts. Today we are gonna answer for certain, finally, once and for all, which area is the most efficient and which one sucks for Agris efficiency, where you should use the points and where you shouldn't. So let's begin. Here, a cute NEKO, so you can like the video to make me feel better. As always, you may skip ahead if you want to the final results, but do that on your own risk, because there's a bunch of stuff you might want to know to understand the charts, and if you don't, well, it's your fault at that point. So yeah, first things first, it's blue loot scroll plus Agris for the drop rate, 300% drop rate. That's what I used to bypass the areas that, as you know, on just a blue loot scroll may only drop 33% or 36 or 40% trash. So I simply used blue plus Agris. That's the most common. That's the trash you're gonna see in the final chart. Very important to point out, since this was a very big project 2 months ago, half of the areas were tested by myself and the other half by the community. Discord friends and random people providing me data. I double checked everything, it should be perfectly fine and correct, but just know not everything was tested by myself. Next up, no money per hour, no experience, numbers, just in case it wasn't obvious, this video is all about Agris and nothing else. In terms of the grinding, it was all normal speed, what I would call it, essentially not rushing so that I don't leave that much trash behind, but not purposely grinding too slow either. Regardless, speed is irrelevant for the final numbers, just remember that, it's very important, and for that matter, I suppose the numbers in general are irrelevant, since all that really matters is how much trash I leave behind versus how much my pets loot. And pets, mostly tier 4 pets. This project again started 3 months ago when we had tier 4 pets, and maybe the last 5-ish areas had tier 5s. As for the class and gear, as always, Corsair Succession is my baseline, how it's always been. She isn't the fastest or the slowest grinder. I would show you my gear, but let's say it improved slightly, so instead here's a picture from Excel. This is what I used while testing for the areas I visited myself, and other stuff, crystals, pets, if you wanna check these. And yeah, we are done. That's kinda all of the boring details. Now we can look at some spreadsheets. This brings back memories from back in the Guardian days, back 2 years ago, from the original big Agris project. Too bad I never saved a version of this without the old 2-year screenshots. Let's look at the numbers. The first one to go through is the background math chart, this one, which doesn't even fit on the screen. This is a simplified version that you're gonna see later for the nice looks, but the one on the left has information that I excluded. For example, the time spent per each individual area. If you're interested in this type of information, most of them were about half-an-hour tests, some more, some less, obviously, because I have only a limited amount of Agris to burn daily, 20,000 points. Areas like this in normal yellow, whatever this is, were all tested by myself, so you can see which areas I did. These in lighter yellow, this, whatever this color is, were tested by my Discord friends specifically that I can trust, and areas in orange like these were tested by the community, let's say, people I don't necessarily know at all, I only met during this project, and areas in red are areas that were excluded because this time I only chose to show one single result per each area. So if I did all wounds, for example, twice or 3 times, I only chose to show one of the results at the end. Areas like, for example, Blood Wolves, this one, that have multiple types of trash, I try to account for every one of them because they all have different trash prices and will change the final efficiency efficiency number, and let's just say areas that have a B at the end, these for the Calfee and Elvia were areas where I accounted for the boss trash if that one spawned. Areas without a B at the end, specifically and only for Calfee and Elvia, didn't have the boss included in the efficiency number. And lastly, and then we are done, remember how I said that the only thing that will change the efficiency number is how much loot my pets leave behind, unlooted. Essentially, I kill the monster, I waste Agris points, but I move too fast and my pets never loot it. Yeah, I looked into that efficiency a little bit just to see where this kind of stands. In Valencia, it's very easy to do the math because monsters always drop the same amount of trash, and I have crescents here with 3 different sessions, 2 of them on my Valk because I was doing a money per hour video, you know, doing the Valk train mode, grinding very fast and leaving behind a bunch of trash. The efficiency in the end turned out to be 78%-ish, so I was leaving behind about 22% of what I was killing, never looting it. And since Corsair is the baseline for this test in particular, I looked at the Corsair result as well, which, since she is moving slower, was about 90% looted and 10% wasted. So I'm showing you this just so you remember and know that for one-shottable areas, or in general areas with a lot of monsters where you move fast and you tend to leave trash behind, the efficiency result at the end will be somewhere around, let's say, 80 to 90%, whereas other areas, other high-end spots where you loot everything will be about 100-ish%. And we are done. Pat yourself on the back for a job well done, for following through and listening to everything I had to say. Now we can look at the final conclusion, final result, the big charts, which once again don't even fit on the screen this time. Yeah, now the first one, they are identical, both of them. The first one is ordered for which areas burn the most amount of points per hour. If you're interested in that type of information, it's mostly redundant, but it's nice to see which ones essentially waste too many points and you can burn them as fast as possible if you're interested in that. The second chart, this one is the star of today's show because it is ordered for efficiency. The lower this number is, the better. For those of you new around here, this number essentially means how much Agris, how many points you are burning per 100 million silver made. That's why the lower it is, the better. And that's why I said probably multiple times that the number itself is completely irrelevant, since all we do here today is compare one spot to another, compare each spot to each other. In terms of my own conclusion, you can pause and examine, obviously you will, the chart. I personally would say that areas that have 10,000 or less for efficiency are really good and really recommendable to burn Agris, so Centaurs, Gahaz, Oluns, Crescents, Fadus, Jade Forest, Histria, all of these here that are under 10,000-ish. From 10,000 to 20-ish thousand is what I would say questionable personally, at least that's how I like to divide them. And if I scroll down, I suppose for the rest of the results, areas between 25, let's say 25 30,000 here and above are areas that you kind of want to avoid. It makes sense, it's very reasonable, you know, it's not big brain conclusion, you can obviously infer this yourself. Very funny how Gyfins underground, the high-end area, whatever, that one is one of the worst efficiency areas in the game, and Gyfins upper, the party, the 5-man party zone, is one of the best for Agris, with Necropolis nighttime being so efficient that this number is almost inexistent. And yeah, that's the conclusion. Now for codes. Do you want codes? I have codes to celebrate the special occasion, the Agris Project 2022. It's only for EU and NA because we are special people, and it lasts for 3 weeks, so redeem it before it expires, and enjoy. Not much else left to say on my end, other than, I suppose, leave a comment with your opinion, your information, if you wanna share stuff Agris related wise, like the video to make me feel better. These types of projects, I realized lately, they are very unhealthy for myself to do. They take way too much time. I would say this one in particular took maybe 100 hours total, everything included, and I might never do another one again, probably, I don't know. Regardless, I will see you next time with a different project. Until then, stay happy, as always, and bye bye. That's not concentrated.
Upload more vids please, like 10 a day, a possible laughing face.